Let's say you have a large physical collection of Nintendo Switch games. We've got a selection of Nintendo Switch games here, and let's say you want to go ahead and be able to take all of these with you, but you don't want to take all of these with you. Well, you could buy them digitally through the Nintendo Switch eShop. That is an option, but that's where the team over at MiG Flash have stepped up with their new MiG Flash dumper along with their MiG Flash cartridge. So I've been testing this for quite a while, and I've definitely got some opinions on it. We're going to walk you through what this is and what this isn't, and we're going to show you some gameplay on it. So what is this, basically? So the biggest part about this for me is this part here, the MiG Flash dumper. And one thing you may notice on here, it says MiG Switch. They have changed the name. A lot of that for copyright reasons is what I'm assuming. I don't know for sure. That's me just guessing. So what this does is it allows you to insert your physical Nintendo Switch cartridge into the bottom here, connect a USB-C cable up to here, and then you go ahead and you can download your ROM from your physical cartridge to your computer. That's the thing for me that makes this different than a lot of other devices that are out there. This doesn't rely on you downloading ROMs from the internet illegally. This is for people who claim that, they're running flash cards and things like that for preservation. This is a preservation tool. I will grant you that, and I agree with that. Now, the other half of this is the version 2 of the MiG Flash cartridge. And basically what this has over the original, what this has first and foremost is on the side, it does have a card slot for a micro SD card. Just go ahead, put it in, and after you've loaded your games on it, of course, and you can go ahead and play your games. Now, on the original version of this, to change your games, you had to eject and remove and reinsert the cartridge each time. And every time you would do that, it would switch the game. It worked, but it was a pain. So what they've done on this version now is they've added a button up top where you can go ahead and just hit that, and it changes the game that is loaded onto your Nintendo Switch. So that's what this is. What is this not? This is not something that you can buy one copy of a game and then be able to take this and put a same copy of that game into another system. If you do that, your systems are going to get flagged. You're going to get banned. Don't do that. That is evil and bad. That also circumvents copyright. Everything we're talking about here does not circumvent copyright. At least in the United States, you are allowed to make physical backups of your physical software, and that does include video game software. You're legally allowed to back these up. Nintendo may not like it, but as long as you're not selling it, distributing it, dropping it on the floor like I just did there, or trying to use one copy on multiple systems, as long as you're not trying to do any of those things, you are completely within your legal rights. So with kind of this overview out of the way, let's go ahead, let's show you how this actually works, and we're going to show you how this dumps a ROM to your computer, how to load it, how to dump it, how to load it, how to dump it, and how it actually plays. Let's get started. All right, so here's a look at my desktop here. Now, one of the things we're going to do first is we're actually going to prepare our micro SD card, and I have a card at the ready here. And then to get it prepared, all that we need to do is we need to format it, and it needs to be exFAT. We're going to default allocation size on that, and volume label is going to be for the MiG Flash. And hit start. Warning, it will erase everything. Yes, I know. We are going to erase. All right, and there you can see format is complete. Close that down. Now, we're going to use 3 different games to test this out with. Mega Man 11, G.I. Joe, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, first things first is we do need to go ahead and connect our MiG Flash dumper. Now, it's important, this doesn't come with a USB-C cable at all. Make sure that you're using one that utilizes or basically not only will charge a cell phone, for example, but will also go ahead and be able to transfer data. So when I plug it in, this window pops up. Now, this is Mega Man 11, so I'm just going to take this, I'm going to insert it right into the dumper. Closes that window, pops it right back up. Now here we have 3 different folders here on that, and it will read, at least on my PC, it reads as Game Card F. Let's see, is it this one here? Yep. So you have the ROM data all here. So while this has all the individual files, we don't need the individual files. We just need this, what is that? XCI. We just drag that into here. And now on the dumper, you can see it's flashing. And it gives you an approximate time and whatnot that it will take to go ahead and dump that. And first of all, I'm going straight from the cartridge to a folder on my desktop, as you saw, and then I will load it onto my micro SD card. And we're winding up here, almost done. And we are done now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my Nintendo Switch folder. There's that. I'm going to actually create a folder that I'm going to dump this in just for, doesn't do anything. It's just easier for my own naming convention. So we're going to do new folder, Mega Man 11, boom, drag and drop. Again, only for my own personal reference. So we're going to do the same thing here with G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. I still yet to play it. I've actually heard really good things about it. All right, there we got it. And then new folder, BOT, yeah. There, I think that's named correctly. That's a joke, people. Although not so much. So we are going to go ahead and grab our Operation Blackout cartridge here, right there. And I'm just going to move that folder out of the way so you can see this one here. I'm going to pop that out. You see that folder disappear. I'm going to pop this one in. And it actually opened on this display, so let me drag this over in there. And then we're going to drag that one over in there. Same thing, we're going to take that folder, drop it into G.I. Joe. And what do we got here? It says about 5 minutes, so we'll let that do its thing. All right, so that one's done. Let's take a look. There's our folder, exactly as I want it to be. And then we are finally going to go ahead. We will pop out G.I. Joe. Grab our copy of Breath of the Wild, which has been collecting dust because I don't like this game at all, as I have stated many times. Same thing. Pop it in. We get the flashy. There is the folder. And we'll take this, move that over there. Problem copying. Destination does not exist. Must be a weird. Okay. As we see everything there. All right. Take that, drop that into here, and says this is going to take all of the minutes, about 13 minutes. So interesting, one of the earliest games, one of the largest file sizes. So that was a pretty long transfer, but everything is done now. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to pop out the cartridge here. And we are now going to go ahead and put this into our Switch and test it out. So everything is now transferred to my SD card. Let's go ahead and we are going to pop it in to the MiG Flash. And I mean, it's pretty simple. Just going to reach over, pop that guy out there, and take this, put it in just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to put this into our Switch. I am going to leave it in airplane mode because my paranoia. But we should not have any issues. Now, one thing, too, before we get playing is I do want to let you know we are utilizing an AverMedia Extra Go GC515W dock for our Nintendo Switch right now. And I am going to be mixing in footage, both recording right to the dock and through the dock. For the capture device to our PC, we're using the Bihar Bros Prodigy. For the money, I really like this unit. So we are going to start off with Mega Man 11. And close. We will just start the software. We will start the software. I don't want to worry about that. And just to show, here is my physical copy of Mega Man 11. So you can see that it is playing right off of the MiG Flash. I mean, play control and everything is exactly as I would expect. And I will admit, I have had this game for a long time. This may be the first time I've actually played it outside of the demo. Yeah, I would say this is playing exactly as I would expect, like, the actual, like, legit cartridge to play. I just really suck. Now, the one thing, and this could be my monitor, this could be the capture device, I am getting an occasional audio drop, so I don't know where that's coming from. Ooh, that was not nice. But I would say thus far working quite nicely here with the MiG Flash using Mega Man 11. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pause, go to the home screen, and we're going to see how it works with Breath of the Wild. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do X to close software. Yes, I am sure. Now that it's closed, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hit the button. And I'll have you watch me do it. And now Breath of the Wild is selected. And when we're done with this, I will, again, try to see if I can't get G.I. Joe to transfer to the SD card and work. I've actually got another SD card that we're going to try it with that also has Kaze and the Wild Mask. So we are going to continue. So here's the interesting thing. Different cartridge, as it were, because I do have the physical cartridge here. Here you can see my save data. The last time that I played this was in November of 2022. So let's see what we got. Now this does seem like it took quite a while to load, but that could be based solely on the speed of the SD card. And there again, I had a little bit of an audio dropout, so I'm wondering where that's coming from. If it's from the my monitor that I'm using, where exactly it's from. Yeah, yet again, this is playing exactly like the physical cartridge would. Got him. You are a dead moblin. Almost. There's the Boku Club. There's another moblin right there. Come here, you. Take that, take that, take that, and that. So I will say overall, I mean, at least thus far, the MiG Flash is working precisely as advertised. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the G.I. Joe game on the SD card. And we're going to see what we got. All right, so here I wanted to kind of show you, this is the error that I'm getting. An error has occurred. The destination you have specified does not exist. It might be offline network location or an empty CD or DVD drive. Check the location and try again. And, I mean, there's the location there. So what I'm going to do, I am going to delete this. I'm just going to drag this all in here and see error has occurred. Try again. Let me decide for each. Continue. All right, we'll try this one more time before we kind of write this one off as not compatible. So it's still throwing errors at me when I dump to the desktop, and then anyways, so I threw another SD card in while I'm transferring again, and you can actually see that the light is blinking, flashing. I'm actually just trying to dump straight to the SD card we were just using. I have another SD card in here with Kaze and the Wild Mask, which is a fantastic game. Got to thank Jay from Square Pegs for giving me a heads up on this one. we're going to go ahead and give this a try real quick. It, not exactly what I was hoping for. What I was kind of hoping for, like I mentioned in the intro, was something where, I could use one cartridge, dump to a couple different MiG cards, and be able to play like Mario Kart on multiple systems. Not an option. Also, this is not something, if you're going to buy a game and then like trade it into GameStop after you've backed it up, legally you still need to maintain a physical copy of whatever software you're backing up. So if you do that, you have to delete your backups. Also, because they are essentially registering the serial number for each cartridge, you can't have two instances of the same cartridge running at the same time. That's how you get flagged and banned. That's a bad day. So don't be dumb. The overall, design and everything is decent. I wish there was a little bit more support in with what you buy, because there was no instruction manual or anything along those lines. Not even really a QR code on any of the packaging. So that is something that just to kind of be aware of there. Above and beyond that, like if you handed me one of these games and asked me, is this the real cartridge or is this a something that's backed up to something like this, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I mean, it's working and playing exactly as the original does. So that's definitely a good thing. That's what you want. I am not noticing like any inherent lag or delay or latency. The dump speed and the write speed is a little bit on the slow side. Part of that, I think the bus that they use on the dumper is USB 2.0. And that's one of those where I really wish they would have gone with USB 3.0. Yes, we got it. That would have just increased how fast you can dump the data. I do like the fact that they did make an update right away to, this MiG Flash 2.0, where it has the button to change from game to game. Having to pop the cartridge in and out, that would have been a pain in the butt. It also would have been quite a bit of wear and tear on your system that I would not have been a fan of myself. This is such a great game, by the way. I absolutely love Kaze and the Wild Mask. This is something for me I could see if I'm going to be traveling and if I want to be able to take more than just a handful of games and I don't want to take a bunch of physical cartridges with me, I could see this definitely being of benefit. For day in and day out gameplay, I don't know that I would want to have to get up and hit the button every time that I want to change to a different cartridge, if that makes sense. Yes, I'm lazy when it comes to that. So I think that for me, I think the benefit on this is for people who are going to be on the go. That's legit where I think the biggest benefit to this is. If you're on the go, if you're a Switch Lite user, this is definitely going to be something you'll want, because then you can leave all of your cartridges at home and take 4 or 5 with you and just load them onto an SD card. The files are not small. I mean, we're looking 5 to 12 gigs. So you'll want to have a decent size micro SD card. You'll also want decent speed as well. Pretty much everything is at least class 10 at this point. You'll want 150 to 200 megabit per second transfer speed. That'll definitely make things go a whole lot better just on the transfer side of things. All right, so there was something in the transfer before that it did not like going to the desktop first and then to the SD card. We got it. So now here you can see there is the physical copy of G.I. Joe. We are playing the backed up version. Wow, that certainly took its fair share to go ahead and load. Let's go ahead and get Duke set up here. I'm just going to walk around here a little bit so we can kind of see. I love having that airplane back there. Yeah, I mean, one thing of note I've got to say is I'm sure that the speed of your SD card is definitely going to affect, how fast things load. So using a good quality micro SD card is definitely going to be something you want to do. That's flipping awesome. Look at that. Okay, that's really, really cool. I remember that toy as a kid. Sky Strikers, yes. Headshot there. Headshot there. Headshot there. Boom, boom, and... Oh, we left one. So we're going to slice and dice.
I still got it.
We're going to slice and dice you and slice and dice you, and yeah, we'll get you too.
I told you Duke was better than Scarlet.
Oh, them's fighting words. So what are my overall thoughts on this? I do wish that they had some kind of instructions that came with it. I do wish that. It's a great way to back up your existing physical collection. I mean, it's a legal way to do it too. Like, you don't need to go ahead and, download anything from the internet as far as, you don't need to patch an ISO or anything. It's one of those where, you take your physical collection and you are backing up this is the very definition of preservation, at least to me. I don't like if you have to patch a game by downloading something. That's not preservation to the same extent as this is. I don't know why G.I. Joe had the issue that it did with downloading, or not downloading, but dumping. That was just bizarre. But it's working perfectly now, which is exactly what I want. I think it's reasonably priced. The one thing that I was hoping when I first saw this, that I was hoping that it would allow me to do, would be to take like a copy of Mario Kart and share it between my wife and kids so that we could all play on devices versus on the TV. You can't do that. You need to maintain possession of your original game. So for example, like my copy of G.I. Joe here, now that I've dumped it, I still need to own this legally, and realistically, if you go ahead and trade this into GameStop or your local retro store or whatever, sell it at a swap meet, and you're online, and then the person who bought this decides to go ahead and boot this up at the same time, you both get banned. Not worth the risk to me. But overall, functionality-wise, it works well. They do offer a combo where you can get the dumper, the cartridge, and a 1.5 TB micro SD card for a discounted price. So there is that. So let's go ahead and let's wrap things up. So in the end, what do I think of the MiG Flash dumper and the MiG Flash cartridge? So like I said in the intro, what this isn't is something I kind of wish that it was. I have a number of Nintendo Switches in our household here. I have one, my daughter has one, my youngest daughter has one, my wife has one. It would be great to be able to play Mario Kart on each of them and then just dump the ROM onto one of these and circulate amongst those other units. You can't do that. If you do that, you're going to get your system and your user ID banned. Don't do that. Also, it's one of those things that, well, it's convenient now to have the button versus, ejecting and inserting it. Still not a great way to go ahead and access the different games that are on this cartridge, especially if you have a boatload of them. I would recommend using this for 10 games or less. Otherwise, you are going to get frustrated as you're cycling through your menu to see what game you have where. It's one of those things, too, where if you are not traveling, you may be better off with like some of the docks that we featured that allow you to put in 4 or 8 different cartridges and you just select from those. With that, you have no risk of getting your system banned. If you do this right, you shouldn't have any issues with it either, but there's always a risk. With something like that, there's no risk because all you're doing is cycling from cartridge 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. And that also has the same type of interface where you hit a button on a remote to cycle through the different cartridges that are inserted. If you are using a Switch Lite, okay, this I can see definitely having an advantage over that dock scenario because you're not connecting to a dock. You can't connect to a dock, and using it like hanging it off the top is kind of a pain in the rear. So in that vein, this is a very elegant sort of setup. But I do understand the risks and the concerns. And then the other thing with this is it still requires you to have an SD or a micro SD card to go through the work of downloading your ROMs off of the physical cartridges, uploading it to the micro SD card, putting it in here, cycling through there. So this isn't as flawless of a system as I would like, but it definitely is pretty darn good. Even if you're just looking to back up your physical cartridges, I love the idea of the dumper here. I mean, it's one of those things, I talked about this again during the intro, about people wanting preservation. This is a way to preserve your physical games. Doesn't do anything for you for your digital games, but your physical collection, you can definitely go ahead and use this with, and I mean, it works very, very well. Now, if you do also want to maintain your physical collection, don't forget to check out my 3D printer website where we do have our restoration cleaners for the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Cartridge. The beautiful thing about this, it's a two-in-one design. It doesn't use any chemicals or any solvents or anything along that. You know, we call it the switcheroo because it has, you know, it's a two-in-one design that'll clean your system or your cartridges. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and they're cheap too. $7.99 for one, two for $13.99, $12.99, $13.99, whichever. Check the website, I'll have it linked down below. And speaking of links down below, I will have a link to the website where you can go ahead and purchase these through. I do want to thank them for sending us one of these to check out and review. We've been talking to them since February of 2024, and it's not MiG Switch directly that I've partnered with on this. It is one of their partner retailers. The one thing I will say about that is, you know, they've been a little bit of a challenge to work with. I think they don't understand entirely the scope of what they're getting themselves involved with, and I think they have room to grow, both as a company, as a website, and as a product developer. But I think that there are definite potentials here with both of these items. Now, like I mentioned, I'll have a link down below where you can pick these guys up if you want to. They are in high demand, so if you see them available and you want them, add them to cart, check out, get these ordered while you can. Now, if you do want to see any other videos that we've done talking about the Nintendo Switch, the Switch Lite, or those docks that I've mentioned where you can go ahead and cycle through and select different cartridges just by hitting a remote control, I'll have that link for you right here in the upper corner. Check them out. I'm sure that you'll find something here that you'll love.